Hi, I'm Karen Hassey, and I'm an accordionist. I know what you're thinking. Accordion, oh, polkas, waltzes. But not all accordions play polkas and waltzes. There are thousands of accordion musicians throughout the world that never have played a polka or a waltz. It all started in 1821 when the first accordion was patented. It was patented in Vienna. I'm not going to tell you all the names because you're not going to remember them anyway. But it was patented under the name piano accordion. The gentleman built one. It had only 5 keys and 3 buttons. It was controlled by the bellows. And the bellows, have, with air in them, push on reeds. They're called free reeds because they are connected, each one free. And if you know what a reed is, it's like clarinet players and saxophone players. They all use a reed put in on their mouthpiece, and they blow, and the reed vibrates. Well, that's just what's in here. The reeds are made of metal. They're very tiny, and there's 2 for every note. The reason there's 2 is because when we pull the bellows, we get 1 sound, and when we push the bellows, we get the same sound. Now, like a concertina, they have to have 2 reeds. One is 1 sound, and then pushing is another sound. So that's why you see concertina players constantly going in and out. Now, on the accordion, we have keys that represent and look like a piano. Each key, like the piano, has a mechanism, but the accordion is not a percussion instrument like a piano. Piano is considered because their hammers hit the strings. Anything that's hit is a percussion instrument. This is considered a reed instrument, so it's sort of in the same family as clarinets, saxophones, baritone sax. So inside here, the reeds are connected into a metal frame that is mounted in wood. Now each key that you lift up, it opens to let the air vibrate the reeds. See, it's the same sound. And the same is for the left hand. When they invented the accordion, it was very small, similar to this, had just a few basses. And when we learn how to play accordion, we learn how to play 3 things, I don't need that, 3 things at once. We have to learn how to play our fingers, and we have to learn how to push buttons. Now, I just showed you what a beginner does. In, out. They all start out the same way. I probably did too when I was 6. But you have to think of playing music on the accordion sort of like how we talk or how we sing. It's a phrase. So you want it to be smooth and not jerky. Sort of like that. That is like one of the very first songs That's in the very first book on how to play accordion. Now, if you can think of all these reeds, plus 2 reeds for each of our buttons, as the accordion grew in popularity, they would use and make it bigger, better, and more sound. And the company that sort of took over, because when they were invented, they were like bought and shipped everywhere. Russia was one of the very largest in producing accordions. And a little bit of trivia is in 1941, when all their soldiers from Russia were fighting the Germans, the Russian government sent 12,000 accordions, small ones like this, to the soldiers all in the front line, so that they could play some music and also remember home and feel more relaxed when they did have to go out in battle. So the accordion has developed into all kinds of sizes. All kinds of companies were making them. Germany, France, Great Britain, the United States, Italy. Those were our main producers. Now it's sort of Germany and Italy that produce the best. Now I'm going to show you a little bit bigger size, because in the beginning you can only have 12 buttons. So now we're going to graduate. And if you look really close at the bass lines, do you see that they run on an angle? You will see this even better as we get more buttons. But it seems like they looked at our fingers, and we have one finger that's longer. So we tuck the other finger behind, and it keeps us on the angle. When we move up, move down, we know where the angle is. This row is a bass row. It gives us one sound. The next row is our major chord row. Now when you hear it, it's not just one sound. So in order to produce it, it has to use 3 reeds. So we have major basses and a major chord. Now in the basses, it's mostly all done by feel, because you can't reach around to see the bass buttons. Now they run in a way that is pretty neat, and I will show you that on the next accordion. Okay, we're gonna change accordions. Now this is a little bit bigger. As you can see, it has a few more keys on the keyboard and more basses and buttons on the left hand. Now, before we were talking about how they are all in an angle. Can you see how they made it that way? Again, it's because of our fingers. Our tallest finger plays the basses. Our pointer finger behind it has the chords. Now, because we've switched to a bigger accordion, we have more chords. So we have our bass, which is our major bass. In this case, this is C. We have behind it our major chord, just like was on the little one, but closer together. The reason they start you on one that is farther apart so you can get the feel of playing 2 fingers. So now we have our major chord, but we've also added in the row minor chord, and this accordion also added the diminished 7th. It's a dominant 7th, minor, major. And later on we're going to add even more. Now on the left hand, it's kind of unique because if you ever learn music and know what the circle of fifths is, I'm not telling you, but when you work on the left hand of the accordion, as you go up, those are our keys that have sharps. As we go down from C, these are the keys in the flat family. So if we proceed up, we have 1 sharp, 2 sharp, 3 sharp, 4 sharps. And if we go below, we have 1 flat, 2 flats, 3 flats, 4 flats. And it keeps on going just if you know the circle of fifths. But the accordion is designed that way, and it really is quite unique and quite easy to remember. Now this particular accordion, again, has 2 reeds, 2 little metal, sometimes they call them little tongues because they wave. And there's 2 reeds for each one of these buttons. And when they have a chord, there'll be 3 of the reeds making a combination. We can only use 3 in any of our chords, even though a 7th chord is a 4-note chord and a diminished is a 4-note chord. So we can't play 4-note chords on accordion and anyone, no matter how big it is. So this is a Hohner. It was made in Germany, probably around 1940, 1942. It has a very unique sound because the Germans that in the Hohner company, they learned how to make the reed swivel a little, and it gives it a vibrato type sound like a singer. It's not just a straight sound. Can you hear it? It's like a pulse, la, like a singer would add vibrato. And so when they made these accordions, they were used everywhere in Europe. In Italy, if you're going to be dining, and they're still used today. If you go to Italy, you probably would hear somebody playing while you're eating. What if you went to Germany? You know, during the war, accordions were everywhere. And one of the most famous songs Now, if you're good, you can name those tunes. And you got a lot of notes, so you don't have to say, I can name it in 1 note. Now, moving on, we also have it in France. I could play you all kinds of songs from every country. And also, it was easy for the gypsies to have accordions because an accordion goes nicely with a violin player. And we know gypsies always have violin players. We have some violin gypsies even in Land O'Lakes. Right, Jennifer? Now I'm going to change accordions, and we're going to talk a little bit about the neck size you would need. Now, this is a little bit bigger accordion. Matter of fact, it's pretty much how big they come for the average person that wants to play. Now, if you look at this side, you see a lot more buttons. But again, we have major basses, we have, and they run in that same diagonal line. If I can find a C. Here's our C, major chord, minor chord, seventh, diminished. So now we have practically every chord that we would have to play in order to produce some really nice music. Now, an accordion, when you get into it, it's not just for polkas. An accordion in different countries and in the United States are used for concert work. They have contests. When I was young, I played in quite a few of the American Accordionists Association competitions. As I got older, I still played in them, but I didn't really like playing in competition. I was more the entertainer, and that's what I did ever since I was 9 years old. So this accordion, you can see it has switches. They have now designed accordions because they developed them into really good instruments, and they can take the reeds that are in here and alternate them, opening and closing them to produce different sounds. It has the master, which you hit with the side of your hand in order to create all the reeds playing at once. So this accordion is a 4-reed accordion. That means for every note on this side, there's 4 reeds. And each one is tuned like a piccolo reed, a violin reed, a cello reed, and a bass reed, so that we can make combinations of these reeds to create sounds. Now because this is a 4-reed accordion, there's 4 reeds for each note on our treble side. And again, you produce them by using the bellows, pulling them out, pushing them in, and you do this smoothly. Sometimes if you go to a dance and you see an accordion player up there and he's going back and forth, in our profession we call them push and pull accordionists. And it's quite funny to see them when they play that way. Okay, I'm going to switch this accordion to another, and I'm going to show you all the different sounds. I'm back, and what I have now is a little bit larger in size. Has the same amount of keys, starting at low G, going up to A. Yeah, I think it's A. I can't even, when you're playing accordion, you can't really see on where you are. Everything is done by feel. But what I wanted to talk about is the buttons that can change the sound like I was talking about. Now, this accordion is how would I say, it's quite a unique accordion because instead of having 4 reeds, it has 6, which gives us a chamber sound. It's just a more mellow and quite beautiful. and we would use it in concert music or playing in a nightclub. I can have bassoon. I can have clarinet by shutting and controlling which reeds. I can get a bandoneon sound. I can have a true organ sound. I thought you'd like that one. And we go on and on. I also have a leak. We have bandoneon, and then we have Piccolo. No, this is Piccolo. And that enables us to get a song and have more keys like a piano by just switching as we go. And when you're up here, you can switch them here. So this accordion has them in a double row. Now, let's look at the left hand. You're going to say, oh my gosh, how do you remember all those buttons? This is considered a freebase accordion. And it has the same 120 basses, the bass, major, minor, seventh, diminished. And in front of our major basses, we have what we call a counterbass row. And this counterbass row is 1/3 higher than our bass. So we have C, 3 notes higher, is an E. So when we use our fingers, and as you grow, you start using all 3. What's nice about the accordion is every scale you just move up, the fingering is exactly the same. No matter where you jump. That's what made it easy when I was in college and I did concert work on the accordion. And we always had to do scales for our juries, and I'd always pick B because it has all the black keys and it's easy, and it sounds really neat when you can play the bass so easy. Now if you look, I have 3 rows of extra buttons. Now these are used, who wants to play? These are used in concert work. It's a chromatic, just like the piano, laid out in half steps. In order to play it, I have to put the extension out. Otherwise, you can't reach it. That pushes the strap out. So these, so that you're able to form chords and just kind of go crazy. I can't do that anymore because I think it's been like 50 years since I have played with the Freebase system. It is called a Bassetti system. This side is called Stradella. It's just the Stradella system of 120 bass, and I have added the Freebase to it. And I also can change the reeds for different sounds. I can make it sound light. and then switching them all on. Now, keeping everything just like it is, it creates quite the loud sound. See? It can be quite loud. Now, this accordion also, and the past one, is electrified, so it has pickup speakers all along here and pickup speakers inside here in the bellows. Now, the worst thing that can happen to an accordion is the little reeds could go out of tune, or like mine, I have a leak, and it is in my clarinet reed. Now there's no sound. And I need to take it to a place called Beldoni down in Milwaukee. It's practically the only place that can repair accordions. He hates working on my accordion because it has so many reeds. And the reeds, the hammers that we push to make them go up and down, the little wooden is all put together with beeswax. So another thing is, you never want to leave your accordion in a hot car. They kind of would melt. But, getting to that, I have a song I want to play for you. It was written back in 1964 by a little 14-year-old girl. She decided to enter a composition contest, although she was writing a lot of songs before that. So she entered this contest in New York City, wrote it, got on the train with her mom, and she went down there, submitted it, and then played it. It's called Fireflies. I'm only going to play you a little bit. Well, let's start that over. And she went on to win first prize out of over, about 300 other compositions. And she went on to write some more songs, 2 symphonies. One was performed at her high school, one was performed during her college days. But she didn't continue. Last I heard, she liked entertaining better. Now, for entertainment, how about one that you might hear if you go to a dance? Name that tune. Now, we have to end this with the Wisconsin theme song. I mean, come on. Time to roll the band, the gangs all. I hope I've taught you a little bit about the accordion.